times his own body weight in competition. So I think he's the 6th athlete to ever do that, the first non-Bulgarian. So I don't think we're going to see that today, but we're certainly going to have, this is a very good competition. A lot of close entry totals here.
From Colombia, Carlos Andres Verne Gonzalez. From the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Siraj Abdulrahim Al Salim.
JP, what do you expect
From
to
Vietnam, John
be
Lee Quang Tran.
the winning total, the medal totals in this class for this session?
Historically, we've seen something 300 or north of. I think in all likelihood, today we'll probably be playing in that mid-290s range. There are a couple of athletes who can get there. We're going to look at a few of them in a bit. But I would ultimately think that a 300-kilo total out of this group would be a surprise. It is a possibility.
Well, you know, in this competition, in any weightlifting competition, the athletes aren't here to...
expected winner.
The expected winner, Tak Kim Twan, is coming off a bomb out at the last Olympics. He bombed out in the clean and jerk, so he is probably looking for a little bit of redemption.
All right, so we're ready to begin lifting here in the 56A group. Marcos Antonio Rojas Concha, first attempt, 100 kilos.
Shaky, but a good lift.
And that's a good lift to Rojas. A good first attempt at 100 kilos.
Making that first attempt at any level of competition, whether it's the World Championships or a gym meet, is really important. It sets the stage for you for the rest of the meet.
And sets the tone for the rest of the competitors.
Yes.
So it is always fun to see a session on a make.
Yes.
Or see a session begin on a make. Right now, we're going to sit on a 1 kilo increment. We're going to run a 2-minute clock for Concha's second attempt, but there's the change right now. So Manueli Tulo of Fiji will be called to the platform for his first attempt, and it looks like he is going to come out to take this.
In the snatch. Rise an hour to follow.
He did 105 on an opening attempt in September in Ashgabat. I think that was the Asian Indoor
Martial Arts
Games.
champion, yeah.
And that was all he mustered on that day. So here he is opening with 103.
It's a much longer trip to come here than it was to go to Ashgabat, I would imagine. Very nice. Very nice attempt.
Good lift there for Tulo. He was in Houston in 2015, snatched 103 kilos on his opener there, so he's 2 for 2 with 103 kilos in America at the World Championships.
United States of America. Rojas to follow.
And this will be...
And Rojas is the lifter. We have the same weight. 100
Great rebound.
kilos.
Love to see that. Wouldn't be shocked if we see 107 or more on his second attempt.
So they bumped Brian up to 105, so he'll be a little bit of a wait for who we see him for his first attempt.
Actually, it looks like he'll be on deck, and what will happen is we'll bring out Marcos Antonio Rojas Concha for his second attempt.
He needs to extend a little bit more on this attempt to make it, because that last one, the first attempt is a little out in front, not enough to miss, but now that he's gone up in weight, if he doesn't make that adjustment, he's going to miss it out in front. Good adjustment.
Should be 2 for 2 for Concha. And, you know, you talk about making that adjustment. We're going to take a peek at it here. Over the course of his career, he makes lifts, period. Mohammed.
Off a bomb out.
Although there was a little bit of wobble there on that right elbow, not enough to draw any red lights, which you do like to see and meaning that they were not punchy on that red light button. But he is now 2 for 2. He's been 3 for 3 in the last 2 major meets that he's been in, which include the Olympic test event in Rio. Remember, they ran that back in April of 2016. He competed there, took a bronze. And in 2016, he was in Cartagena for the Pan Ams, and he went 3 for 3 there, snatched 104. So haven't seen him too much since then, and I'm curious to see where he takes his 3rd attempt. And now it looks like we'll see USA's Brian Reisenauer for his 1st attempt. 105 kilos. Reisenauer, 29 years old. This is his 1st Senior Worlds.
Well, he's only been in the sport about a minute, so this is quite an accomplishment.
All right, no lift there for Brian. Looked like he got underneath it okay. It was the recovery where things started to go.
So Brian's got some shoulder issues from wrestling. So if it's not exactly in the right spot, he's going to have a little bit of a problem stabilizing it. So he's got to get the bar back in the right spot. You see his
shoulder started to.
So he doesn't have a large margin of error. So I would say that was actually out in front a little bit.
Well, this will put Brian on a 2-minute clock. He's going to follow himself because Concha, who is sitting on 105, is looking at a 3rd attempt. So a 2nd attempt will precede a 3rd, which means Reisenauer is on the clock at 105. I think you absolutely have to take this.
100%.
And in Brian's case, he was a late add to the world team. I think he did know in advance he was going to be tapped to be here. But I love seeing him here because I struggle to recall the last time Team USA has put a 56-kilo lifter on the World Championships. I want to say LeGrand Sakamaki, maybe mid to late 1990s. It could be a drought that long since we've seen a 56-kilo wearing USA singlet.
You might be right.
So it's, I think, a lot of fun to have him here, and I think it's a real testament to the work that he's done in a short time to make it to this level. And coming out here, I don't think we saw nerves on that 1st attempt miss.
No, he's used to performing at high levels. He just has to clean up the technique a little bit, and he'll be fine. He's not missing this because of nerves.
All right, well, let's see what he's got. 105 kilos, 2nd attempt, Brian Reisenauer.
He just has to get the bar back in the right spot, and he will make it.
I think he might. I think he would have gotten called for a press out. Take a look when he punches out.
I think you're correct. So he's put himself in a bit of a hole.
And when this replay comes on, keep an eye on the left shoulder. Excuse me, it was the left arm. So we should clarify the press out rule is focused on the elbows.
Not the shoulder.
You can not bend and rebend the elbow. You cannot bend the elbow after you've reached full extension in the bottom position. But if your shoulders move around, it's okay. The problem is sometimes when you see that much movement in the shoulders, the referees will get a little punchy.
That's right.
All right, so now 105 kilos. Reisenauer will get a rest. We are back to Marcos Antonio Rojas Concha of Peru, 3rd attempt. That extension.
Yeah, just not in the right spot. It just seems like it was a repeat of the 1st attempt, although he made the first one.
With a heavier weight.
Right, with a heavier weight.
So 105 would have been a personal best. Not today for Concha. We'll see what he has in the clean and jerk. And now Brian Reisenauer is in a do or die situation. He missed his first 2 with 105. Looks easy off the floor, punches it out with no issue. The recovery hasn't gone his way twice, so this is a big spot for Brian.
Okay. Whew. Good lift. Well, that's
done.
Got it done.
He's not too thrilled, but he got it done. And if you look at how he approached this, that wobble was still there in the shoulders, but the arms stayed true. There was no bending of those elbows, and this is a good lift.
And I think the bar was just in a little bit of a better position. And even though with the instability overhead, he was still able to hold it because it was just slightly in a slightly better position.
So a sigh of relief goes out across Team USA.
Yes, indeed.
And now we will go back to Manueli Tulo of Fiji. 4-kilo jump off his opener with 103 kilos.
Interesting, because you had mentioned he opened 105 his last meet and bombed, right?
No, he made 105. That was it.
Oh, that was it, right. So taking 103 this meet makes sense. I don't see where a 4-kilo jump is the best option for that.
Well, interestingly enough, 103 to 107 is what he did in 2015 at the World Championships in Houston.
Okay.
So that was the exact string he followed.
And was successful in both.
And it worked.
All right.
Unfortunately not here, but he does have another attempt. And we see this in a group like the 56 where there's so much spread. It's just this A session.
Right.
And there's a lot of spread on the start list or on the opening lifts for most of these lifters. So what we've seen already, and we're only 3 lifters into this group of 12, we've seen, what, 3 or 4 2-minute clocks already? And, you know, we're back on another one. And when you see this happening, it kind of messes with the flow of the competition a little bit. It slows down everybody else in the back.
Right.
They've got to account for that in their warm-ups. And you just hope the missing doesn't get contagious. So now Tulo is back for 107. This is his 3rd attempt.
Once we get past 107, 108, you're going to have the lifters bunched together a little bit more, so
yeah,
you're not going to have as many 2-minute clocks.
Tulo missed this on his 2nd. This would match his personal best in international competition.
Moves well, good speed, just a little out of position.
So he will be credited with 103 kilos. Yeah, I mean, technically pretty good, right?
Yeah, it moves well, just not moving it in the right spot.
Coach's lean wasn't successful. And now for the first time we will see Siraj Al Salim. 108 kilos.
A little tall for this weight class, it seems. Very nice save. He almost lost that behind. That was a great recovery for that.
So on this replay, watch the weight shift back on the heels, that ever so slight movement.
That's a tough save.
But great punch out.
Great.
So he is on the board with 108 kilos. His best is 111.
Might have an opportunity to best that today.
Yeah. Azroy Azali Mohammed is now being called at 110 kilos. This is his 1st attempt. Mentioned this is Azroy's 1st ever World Championships. in August at the SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur. It looks like he did 115 kilos. He opened with 111. And while saying that, he has made a move up. A couple of changes happening in the back.
So that's going to bring out the Colombian.
De La Salas.
Oh, one of the Colombians. De La Salas.
So Habib De La Salas is the lifter, 110 kilos. Over the course of his history, this is a fairly conservative opener for De La Salas. At the Olympics, he snatched 119, went 3 for 3, opened with 113 there. So with that build-up,
it looks like something's wrong.
Yeah. By opening with the comment that this looked like a lighter than usual opener for him, there's obviously some discomfort here. And there was no interest in getting underneath that.
No. It seems like he must have some injury or something. Because you don't generally see that.
No, and not from him.
No.
And at first when he backed away, I thought it might have been a knee, but based on what you're seeing there, he could be cramping up.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what kind of weight cut he had.
But you can see the discomfort, and,
yes.
and when there's a weight cut, cramping up is something you have to be very careful with. It's
why, we're with my athletes at Waxman's Gym, we really are careful about controlling the body weight. We don't want anybody over 2 kilos over their competition weight. And a 2 kilo cut, no matter how you cut that weight, is not going to cause too much of a disruption in your physiology.
It looks like they are running the 2-minute clock, and they're going to send him back out here.
Well, you might as well. I mean, you got to go for it. You're not going to die, so you might as well try it.
Not the most encouraging sentiment ever, but
well, as a coach, I would never say that to the athlete.
Right. Okay, so here's Habib De La Salas of Colombia, second attempt, 110 kilos.
I'd really like to see him pull this off.
He still has the clock.
So as long as the bar doesn't pass the knee and the time hasn't expired, you still can make another attempt. And that's going to be it. It's unfortunate. Because once that muscle goes into cramping, it's really difficult to get out of it in that short period of time.
To release the cramp. The other thing, any attempt to engage it or flex against it, it just locks right back up. And it's pretty clear he's having some discomfort. It's always hard to speculate on an injury, but it looks very much like the telltale signs of some cramping.
A strategy that I've seen used in the past was you take all the time for your second attempt. Say if it happens on the first attempt,
let the clock run.
Let the clock run and work on it. Give that attempt away, and then come back for your third. So it gives yourself a little bit more time.
In a way, it is kind of what he did there.
But he went out there instead. There was probably 45 seconds when he could have been still having work done. Or
yes.
Or you at 110, and the problem is there's nobody else at 110. So if he could go up to 111, force somebody else out, but you don't know if that. I mean, if I'm the country if I'm Muhammad, I would go up to 112 and force him right back out.
Okay. Right now, based on the misses that we've seen with 110, 108 that Siraj Al-Salim did is currently the lead in the group, but that should change.
That'll be short-lived.
Yeah. Look at Carlos Berna. Again, back on a 2-minute clock. Everybody has to slow down, and I'm curious to see what Berna, who is right now slated to open with 113, will do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they move him up to 111. Well, they can't now. No, he's just
they're going to let this run out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will see. That means Habib De La Salas will not post a total. This is a bomb out. This will be recorded as a missed lift. I am curious to see if they can get him in, comfortable enough position to clean a jerk. We will find out. So now it looks like after this announcement, we will go to 111 kilos for Azrai Lawafe Muhammad. Azal Muhammad has now had to sit for 5 minutes.
Right.
On deck without a change of anything. 2 fully burned out 2-minute clocks. And he's just been on ice back there, so let's see how he responds here on his first attempt.
Well,
not a shock, right?
Not a shock. Not a shock.
And this is a weight that Muhammad has made on a couple of occasions. It is a heavier opener, but he's opened with 111 before and just leaves it out in front.
Seems like that's a theme today with
out in front.
Out in front.
And we'll say it again, 2-minute clock. 111 kilos is the weight for Muhammad, and we're sitting on Habib or we're taking a look at Habib De La Salas, and he looks pretty upset over there. He, I think, could have been a competitor for a medal. I think he is certainly one of the best athletes in this group, and to see somebody struggle through a snatch series like that is never fun. So hopefully he will be okay. Hopefully we will see him in the clean and jerk. And now we are back to Azrai Azal Muhammad, 111 kilos, second attempt.
Good lift.
Good comeback.
Good comeback.
And a nice job of controlling it on the bottom there.
To your point, sitting there for 5 minutes is just really difficult. And it's difficult decision sometimes. As a coach, you have them go back and take a light lift, or do you have them do jumps, or you have them sit. You really have to think very quickly as to how to overcome that time.
Yeah, and when he sat down, he was on deck for a 1 kilo increase off of an experienced lifter opening with 110, and what was probably a well-timed warm-up series all of a
Right.
sudden turned into being iced.
You can't, you never, I mean, you have to anticipate anything as a coach back there, but you certainly don't anticipate that.
No, and here's the interesting part now for him specifically is that there is some traffic here with 112 and 113 kilos. So now, after following himself after being iced, he could be sitting on a 5 to 7 attempt weight here before he comes back.
Difficult situation to be in. Good news is smaller athletes in the snatch, it's not too taxing to go back there and even do some warm-ups again. It's just the snatch, and these guys recover so quickly. It's not too bad to go back there and do some other attempts before you come back out.
All right, so now we will see the second attempt of Siraj Al Salim. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia opened with 108.
And he had a nice save on that 108. He almost lost it behind. He really good to recover from that.
Just a bit in front.
He had a long wait too. He sat for a long time.
Yeah, opener with 108.
So we haven't really gotten into a flow in this session. It's been a kind of a start and stop situation here, and it's difficult for the lifters.
Yeah, and we had alluded to that, and sometimes when that happens, and we saw it right at the beginning of the session, at least after Manueli opened successfully, we did see 2 makes to start the session, and we were optimistic that it would continue that way. But it did really start to go south, and unfortunately where that choppiness started was with Reisenauer's miss at 105. And since then, no lifter has made more than 1 attempt. Antonio Rojas Concha of Peru opened with 100, made 103. He is the only lifter at this point to make 2 attempts of the lifters who have taken 2 attempts, and we're halfway through the field. So that gives you an indication, you know, we're seeing a lot of red on the scoreboard right now, and you never want to.
No.
So on this 2-minute clock, Siraj Al Salim can hopefully turn that around. This is his 3rd attempt coming with 112. We're looking at that 1-minute mark, and this is usually about when a coach will send the lifter out. Do you have a number? Minute,
yeah,
50 seconds? What?
I like my athlete to start to, it depends. If you're in the staging area, I want them to start going up there about about 55 seconds.
Okay. Which is about what he did. Close.
Oh, again.
Oh. That is a
great.
great save, and he knows it. Did his lower, he rolled under a little
It
bit.
looked like it rolled under. I mean, that's something that you definitely don't want to feature, but you know, he has a very good sense of where the bar is. I mean, that usually you don't recover from that.
No.
And he's done it twice. So good for him.
And 2 for 3, 112 kilos into the lead for Siraj Al Salim.
I will say this, if you do that in the clean and jerk, you're not coming up.
No, that's a deep, dark place.
You are never coming up out of that.
All right, so now looks like we will see Carlos Berna for the first attempt, 113, his first attempt, excuse me, 113 kilos.
And they finished his warm-ups a while ago because we saw him sitting in the staging area. So
was it in the staging area? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they had him ready to go a while ago. So let's see how that affects him.
All right. So the book on Berna: explosive speed, very animated, sort of an odd overhead position.
He's a little bit forward in the. Doesn't he have his head through a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That is a great save.
You don't see that very often. Yeah, that's incredible.
You know, I'm curious. The bar came awfully close to his hair, too.
That's there was a lifter in the 80s, Peshalov.
No, 90s, yeah, Peshalov.
In front of the 90s, who had this huge afro and the bar and a very wide grip.
Right there, it passes over. I mean, the adjustment, everything about that was nuts.
For those of you that aren't weightlifters, what he just did is next to impossible.
All right, so now Mirko Scarantino,
Your sentimental favorite.
European champion, opened with 114 and split. Here he is with 114 at the World Championships. Just a bit in front.
As of recently, the Italian team has actually made quite a push.
Look at the foot position here when he starts, almost a frog style.
Yeah. You know, there's different reasons to start with the feet like that. Sometimes if you have really long shins, start with your heels together. It's a way to keep the bar closer to the body, you know, as you bring it off the floor. If there's a flexibility issue in the ankle, sometimes it's a way to overcome that. Or it could be just more comfortable. Generally, you don't see it very much. You used to see it a lot in the old days with the Japanese. I think they actually might have started that style, but it's not a common thing that we see too much anymore.
All right, so Scarantino just had his 2-minute clock burned, I believe, by another lifter. So he is back out on a 1-minute clock at 114 kilos. This is a quick turn here for him. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen him lift before, but his hips really shoot up right off the floor, which would certainly cause that bar to not come back to you. So I don't know if that's
Did it loop away? Not too bad.
No.
But he was behind it.
Yeah.
And that little bit is enough, unfortunately. So another do or die spot. And as the only lifter, or excuse me, he's going to get a breather. Azroy Hazal Muhammad is looking for that 114. So Scarantino will have a second to have a conversation with the coaches and get it corrected. And now we are on Muhammad's third attempt, 114 kilos.
He made a really good adjustment on his second attempt to make it after that first attempt miss. Looks like he came forward right off the floor. Looks like his balance shifted forward right off the floor.
Okay, let's take a look at that.
114, stays on the bar, please. For the third attempt, for Italy's Mirko Scarantino.
So with that, Muhammad will be credited with 111 kilos from his second attempt. Currently has him sitting in third, but we've still yet to see 4 lifters. And now Scarantino is back, and he must make this to post a total. No lift. So our second bomb out of the session. And Scarantino, who I expected to be in play for a medal, unfortunately will not post a total. We'll see what he has in the clean and jerk. Hips up again, but it's fast. It doesn't look heavy. It's just
out of
not
place.
there.
Just out of place.
Too bad. Hate to see it. And now I think it's safe to say the battle for bronze has begun.
Yes.
This is the first attempt of Thailand's Wittoon Mingmoon. He is opening with 115 kilos. Braki of Spain is looking at 116. But Berna, who I think will not take the 160. The 115 is sitting on deck. I think that will change.
Nice lift.
Nice start there for Ming Moon. 115 kilos.
Good lift at 115. 115 remains the weight on the bar. Carlos Andres Berna Gonzalez of Colombia.
Punch out a little late.
Josue
Good enough.
Good enough.
Spain is our lifter at 116 kilos.
Solid though.
116 kilos on the bar, please, loaders.
So 16 is the first attempt of Brocky, and this will move him into the lead. And from this moment on, every lift is going to matter.
Right.
We will see, I think, a battle of gold and silver coming down to the two lifters from Vietnam. But this is a spot now where any miss could cost you a bronze medal in the snatch. So Josue Brocky is the lifter, and he is coming off of a bomb out at the Europeans where he opened with 118, so a little more conservative here.
Wow, very fast. Good lift.
All right.
And that's a good opening attempt.
Into the lead for Brocky. Berna had moved to 16, so I would not be shocked if we see 17 out of Berna.
This will be the second attempt for Carlos Andres Berna Gonzalez of Colombia. Ming Moon to follow.
Although,
No,
yeah, this is good. Although Berna has, I think, a bigger clean and jerk, so if you were about to go there,
that's
yes.
that's what I was gonna say.
Let the clean and jerk sort it out.
Right, don't take any chances.
So a 3-kilo jump here for Carlos Berna. 116 kilos, second attempt.
Able to save that one.
He's wild.
Yeah, he's wild.
There's a lot going on when the bar leaves the ground.
Dangerous way to lift, because that's how injuries generally occur when you're so inconsistent like that. But
And what got him there, the punch out was okay. I know he was leaned forward just a bit, but what got him there was right at the end. It looked like he shifted back toward his heels, and you just can't hang on to
the
that.
bar can't move around when you lock when your feet land and arms lock. The bar can't move. You know, once it gets there, it's got to stay there.
Yeah, we call that rigidity. And
right. You can't any drift, then your chances of making the lift go down precipitously. So you have to stick the lift, and you can't let it move.
So Wittoon Ming Moon is being announced at 117 kilos.
And that's the right call. Oh.
And he is going to move up to burn Carlos Berna's 2-minute clock, which I think will put Berna back out with 117, and he will have to come and take it. So a perfect little strategy play there by the Thai lifter or by their coaches. And now Berna, with this 117, who took a 1-kilo jump and still wound up on a 1-minute clock, by the way.
Right.
You know, he tried to get himself out of it, having to follow himself, and it didn't work. So now here's 117.
Yeah. Wittoons wasn't going to let him have that.
So Ming Moon moved up to 118, as did Brocky.
Good lift.
And that's how you come back off a miss, add a kilo, straighten it all out, and take it to the bank. Good lift, Carlos.
Great.
As a coach, that drives you crazy. I mean, where was that on the other attempt?
On the first two?
On the first two, right. Where was that?
I mean, that was the best of the series. So we'll see. A couple of misses could hold up 117 as a bronze medal at minimum. But right now, Wittoon Ming-Moon to move into the lead, 118 kilos. By the way, Ming-Moon is the current junior world champion, Asian champion. A little heavy. So you watch how this plays out now. Will Brocky burn Ming-Moon's clock? Will Brocky put Ming-Moon back out on the platform? No. He's going to come take it. So here's how the new rule actually makes it interesting. Because nobody has done 118 yet, it doesn't make sense to put Ming-Moon back on the platform.
Right, because he
makes
makes
118.
Because he makes Brocky makes an 18 first.
You force Ming-Moon to.
Ming-Moon's got to go 119.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice lift.
You know, Brocky looks like he's in shape. He looks like he came to do something today. And 2 for 2 with an attempt in hand on Wittoon Ming-Moon.
Now Ming-Moon's got to go 119.
And
well, he doesn't actually have to because he's opening way heavier in the clean.
If he wants a bronze,
right,
in the snatch, but you know, a successful lift like this for Brocky puts his fate in his own hands.
Right.
And that's what we were talking about. A miss is a big deal from this point forward. And Brocky sitting on a third attempt, he can do whatever he wants here. And Ming-Moon has to make a decision. Do you repeat with the 118 and accept fourth place, basically, assuming both Vietnamese lifters make it?
It seems like he's going up.
We don't see him in the ready weight. Clock is down to 30 seconds, so there's probably a change coming in.
Well, one of the...
Yeah, we're going to see a change. Even though the clock is running, we saw the TO, the marshal run out and indicate something to the board.
Clock's still running.
Clock is still running. So it looks like we're down to our first issue here. They're going to give him a change.
Okay.
And they're going to have to unwind this no lift. It looks like Ming-Moon's clock has expired.
No.
When you see people in suits running, that means there's a problem. And oddly enough, it's almost unbelievable to believe, but the marshalling system that is still used is manual. They are calling these in verbally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when a coach hand writes the change onto the card, the assistant marshal is observing, making sure the correct card is signed, making sure that it's signed in the right place, and then the chief marshal will radio it manually into the table for the speaker to see it on screen. So there is talk of a digital system coming, and by digital I don't mean automatically from the back. They're playing with the idea of moving to tablets instead of the paper-based cards that we're using now. Each coach will have a tablet on the table. I don't think they've tested it once. I think they still have to work out some kinks with it, but I don't think the coach will walk away with the tablet and just keep it with him. I think it has to stay on the table. But point is we're going to add some technology. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that implemented over the next 2 years. But for now, you know, they're using paper airplanes, I guess, to radio it forward. And
technology's great as long as it works.
Yeah, and you know, here again, when we're talking about the flow of the competition, the misses that we've seen, you know, now you have this kind of mishap here, and Ming-Moon's clock just expired. I'm not sure why they're running a 2 minute clock. Either way, he did elect to move up to that 119, and that is what he's going to take. And it looks like he'll have an eternity to do it.
No, now the clock's not running at all. So it seems like we're in the, we have a little bit of a technical difficulties here.
Yeah. And, you know, this is a potential lift for a medal.
Yes.
You know, you hate seeing this stuff. Sometimes it does happen. I think it is relatively uncommon at this point, but these things do happen. And, you know, you just can't let it bother you.
No, you have to be focused. You have a laser sharp focus on the task at hand, and you don't let anything get in the way. You just sit there and just wait until you got to go up.
And there's a move. So now we do have our first attempt from, from Tron of Vietnam. He is one of 2 lifters we have yet to see. He dropped his opener down from 123 while all that was going on. So that was part of the mess here. Tron Lee Quoc Tuan, first attempt. No lift.
Wow.
So now, when that back and forth was happening on Wittoon McMoon's change, at the same time, the Vietnamese lifter was dropping down. So there was confusion probably over who made the change first and what got called in. And interesting development here where that was not a particularly close attempt there.
No.
And Ming Moon, who was looking at following himself, could sit on another 2-minute clock here.
Okay.
And this is now a game for the silver medal as well.
Right. And now Kim Tuan is going to wait and just he's going to lower his opener to whatever he needs.
Yeah, maybe 22 or 25.
Right. So that 28, there's no way he's going out there with 28.
And Tak is going to he's going to be on his own.
Yes.
You know, to finish this thing out. So we are now running a 2-minute clock on the second attempt of Tron Lee Quoc Tuan. 119 kilos. Wittoon Ming Moon on deck. He will follow regardless of the outcome here, assuming he holds with 119.
Well, the way that looked, he got to stay.
Don't forget, Brocky in the hole on 119.
Which is
going to change based on outcome. So Tron Lee Quoc Tuan, second attempt, 119 kilos.
All right.
Better effort.
So now Brocky's going to go 20 and force Tron Lee to go to 21.
Right, but Ming Moon has to be, yeah, you're making the assumption that Ming Moon is going to stick with us, by the way. Great adjustment in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making the assumption that Ming Moon is not going to play for a medal. Currently sitting in fourth. If he takes the 119, it will move him, what, to second?
No, he's taking this. It doesn't matter what Brocky snatches. He's not going to beat him in a total.
Right, but Brocky has already moved to 120. No lift there. He'll be credited with 115 kilos from his opener.
120 kilos, please, lovers. 120 kilos for Spain's Josue Rachi.
Close. So Josue Brocky will guarantee himself a medal if successful here. Actually, he is guaranteed at least a bronze.
Mm-hmm.
This could move him in position for silver.
Oh, wow, what a fight.
That is the weightlifting equivalent of forever.
Yeah.
Underneath that. Watch this fight.
120 kilos remain to the bar, please.
Unbelievable. No quit at all. All right, so with that, Brocky is guaranteed at least a bronze. We are down to our final 4 attempts of this snatch competition in the men's 56 kilo category. All of them belong to lifters from Vietnam. But we're going to see Tran Le Quoc Tuan close out his series with an attempt at 122 kilos. If successful, it will move him into the lead, and Tak Kim Tuan will open with that 123 kilos that you mentioned. He lowered from 125 already.
So Tak will stay at 23. There's no reason to go up from here.
Well, he really had no choice. Even on the make or the miss, he was taking 23 regardless, right? But look here, this is sort of how the miss happened in the first attempt, just behind him.
Throwing it behind him.
But a silver medal coming into the direction of Tran Le Quoc Tuan. And now we are down to our final lifter of this group, Tak Kim Tuan of Vietnam. If successful with 123 kilos, he will be the gold medalist in the snatch at the 2017 World Championships.
I wonder if he takes this
kilos.
and maybe goes 126 and that's it.
He might. I mean, his best ever is what, 136,
Yeah,
which I think is
so
the junior world record.
I don't think he's going for any PRs today.
Well, that's a done deal.
Right. So, you know, he's pretty close with his countryman in the clean and jerk, but because of the 123 make in the snatch, he's 4 kilos ahead. So it
with 2 attempts in hand.
With 2 attempts, so I can see him going 5 or 6 and then calling it a day.
Yeah, maybe. And just to correct myself, his junior world record was 135 kilos, which I think is still the most he's done. That is his personal best in competition. And off a 123 opener, I doubt we'll see that kind of a track. I don't know that we'll see a 130 snatch, maybe on his 3rd attempt.
If the goal is to win the meet,
well, that's already done.
Well,
the snatch.
The snatch. But to win the total, he doesn't need to take any chances.
You know, it's interesting also, 23 years old. He has been a bronze medalist at Worlds. He has been a silver medalist at Worlds. In the total, he has never been world champion. So
Seems like that's going to change.
He's halfway to the bank. And I have to say, in a group of 12, this could be the most 2-minute clocks I've ever seen. There have been a lot.
It's reminiscent of some of the meets that we've done in the past.
To this point, we have 11 lifters completed, 33 attempts. We only have 11 successful lifts, so a 33% hit rate. I mean, you don't usually see this.
So generally at World Championship meets, and the only reason I know this is I did the math on this. It's around a 48 to 52%.
Yeah, that sounds about
right. Make rate. So we are well below.
Right.
Well below.
So here is Tak, 126 kilos. 2nd attempt.
This would give him a commanding lead. So he either calls it now goes to 129, and then he can go for a power clean PR and probably win the world championships.
Well, take a look at this again. I mean, there's a reason this guy holds a junior world record. I mean, even in slow motion, you can see he's moving at another speed.
Yes.
So 2 beautiful ones there for Tak Kim Tuan of Vietnam, 123.
He's taking a third.
126. He does not look finished.
So that's what I figured. 129, and then he goes into power cleans
with a 10 kilo lead. Yeah. But I don't know. Just take 130. Come on. Looks better. And 129 is the declared weight, so he does have 2 changes if he wants it. It's going to be a 2-minute clock.
I don't see him taking any more. I mean, maybe, but I don't see it. No reason to. If these meets, like I alluded to before, you take as much as you need to and not anymore. And this is about as much as he's ever going to need to win this meet unless something terrible happens in the clean and jerk.
So here he comes with that 129 kilos. This is the last attempt of the competition in the snatch. 129 kilos.
Well, regardless of that, Tak Kim Tuan has distributed a good old-fashioned butt whipping to the rest of the field.
He will take a 126 kilo snatch into the clean and jerk. And he is our gold medalist in the men's 56 kilo category for the snatch competition. We are now in our 10-minute break. And the first 2 were easy. 126.
That was easy too. He just missed it.
Yeah. Right now slated for a 156 kilo clean and jerk, so it'll be a while before we see him again.
Yes.
Here's our leaderboard.
That's a lot of red. Glad to see Brian come out there and make that first attempt. I mean, he has a total now in his first World Championships, and that's the first accomplishment. Now we have to see about adding onto that total.
Sitting at 232, I mean, we've seen Brian do as much as 239. So a little bit of aggressiveness, perhaps some solid technique continuing, and maybe we'll see him north of 240. He'll get a bit of a breather here right now. 130 kilos is going to be the weight called for Manueli Tulo of Fiji.
And like Brian, Manueli made 1 out of 3 in his in the snatch, and is 2 kilos behind Brian.
So Tulo opening up with 130. This is somewhat conservative for him. He tends to make his openers, so.
Oh, this is tough right here. Good.
Professional lift there from an experienced lifter. And by tough, take us through what you were seeing.
So yeah, anytime you stumble on the recovery of the clean, it is going to take away from your likelihood of success in the jerk. That's why it's really important in training to practice these really efficient cleans and standing up as quickly as you can to conserve as much energy as you can, so you have that energy to make the jerk.
And in this case, he did step forward on the clean when he recovered, so he did a good job.
Did a great job
with the jerk to not continue forward and to, you know, make use of the limited real estate that he had on the platform there. So a good lift for Tulo at 130.
And Brian, you know, is in a good position here to keep his place above Manueli.
Yeah, in the snatch, we did see these three lifters, Manueli, Concha, who is out now with 131 for his first attempt, and and Brian, excuse me, mixing it up in that competition. And you're going to see that, I think, again with this group. And, and Brian is in position where he could, you know, place ahead of all three of them. Now we are looking at Marcos Antonio Rojas Concha of Peru, first attempt, 131 kilos.
Good lift. You know, in weightlifting, there's only 3 medals, but there could be battles at every place. So, you know, what we're seeing here is, although none of the lifters that are coming out now are in position to make any medals, they're in a great position to battle each other.
Yeah.
So, which is one of the things that makes weightlifting great. It's not just who wins, but it's to fight. And you can fight if you're in last place, or you can fight in first place. It doesn't matter. You still have to fight.
And in this case, we do have this group of 3 that are bunched together, and you will see the game play out. And in the mix here would be the leader of the group, I think, coming out of the snatch is Azroy Hazal Muhammad. And he snatched 111, but mixing it now in this group, in the clean and jerk, we can see lifters who may have had a little better snatch drop down the rankings a bit.
Right.
And Muhammad has opened with 130 in the past and been successful. 132, well, 140 is the most he's opened with, actually. So this is pretty conservative here at 132.
Very slow off the floor. Yeah, I thought there was something wrong with that as soon as he picked it off the floor.
So take us through it on the replay. Let us know what you saw.
It's just, it was really slow as he came off the floor. And generally, you know, you have to accelerate that bar. So it just didn't look right. It didn't look right to me as soon as he lifted it. If you're really slow off the floor, you have to then make up for it in a sense in the explosion. And very often that's not going to happen. You have to exert too much energy in that explosion, and very often it's going to lead to an unsuccessful lift.
All right, so now we are back to Brian Reisenauer, second attempt, 132 kilos.
5 kilo jump is a nice jump. All right, well, he's got the shakes. Yeah, it looked like he was going out. So he did a good job moving the bar in the clean. It just looks like he lost his, he started to see the little birds, which is very often you'll see a lifter shake as they as they're trying to set for the jerk. And sometimes that means lack of oxygen.
The lights are going out.
The lights are going out.
And, you know, in this case here with Brian, that is a grinder of a clean.
Right.
And a terrific effort. But like we saw in the snatch, that overhead position is going to be a challenge. So we'll see what he has in store for us with his third attempt. He will be back in a bit. But now we've got Azroy Hazal Muhammad, second attempt, 132 kilos, got pinned on his opener with this same weight.
So I'd like to see him move the barbell a little faster off the floor. It's going to help him stand up easier with the clean. That's just the way he lifts. Well, same thing. He did the same exact thing in his first attempt. I don't know if he's hurt or just not having a good day.
Bar stays close.
Yeah, for sure.
Turnover is good. The leg strength is what's not there.
Not good leg strength, which would show in moving the barbell from the floor and in the recovery. So I would assume his front squat is not too much more than his clean.
All right, so now we are back to Brian Reisenauer for his third and final attempt. Has a success with 127, currently sitting on a 232 kilo total. If successful, this will move him to 237 on the day. 2 for 3 in the clean and jerk. Let's see what happens here. That second attempt clean was very taxing.
He's got to make that easier. Oh, boy.
Maybe an elbow touch. All right, so no lift there for Reisenauer. He will finish the day with that 232 kilo total. Let's take a look at this again. Didn't touch, but he lost his position.
Yeah.
And there's no getting out of that.
No, in the clean, it's very unforgiving. If you lose that position, you're not going to recover from it.
All right, so now a do-or-die spot for Azroy Hazal Muhammad. Unsuccessful in his first 2 attempts. He is going to need this to post a total.
I don't know. I mean, he's got to do something different because he's done the same thing the first 2 lifts and has been unsuccessful the same way. He's got to stand right up.
This will give him a 243 kilo total.
Stand up. Stand up. Come on. Not a good showing there. It's too bad.
133 kilos, please, on the bar. 133 kilos. 134 kilos, please, loaders. 134.
It's odd to see an athlete not be able to stand up, especially in that first couple of attempts. Third attempt, sometimes you'll see the weight's real heavy. He'll have a hard time standing up, but not usually in the first 2 attempts.
Well, I think in general we see less missed cleans than in the past. But, you know, this session in the clean and the men's 56 kilo category, we're starting off the clean and jerk with a similar theme as the snatch, and that theme is a sea of red. And we've already got our first bomb out in the clean and jerk. This is now the 3rd lifter who has bombed out, and it's, you know, something that we hope changes right now. And Jose Brocchi, this is interesting, is opening with 135 in the clean and jerk. He is our bronze medalist in the snatch, and he's out pretty early in this competition.
What's his best?
140.
All right, so this is a reasonable
143,
opener.
excuse me.
Okay. I mean, it's a good lift. I mean, he's in a situation where he might not medal in the clean and jerk and still medal in the total.
That's right.
Which is very odd.
Yeah, it can happen, but what that means is, solid jerk, by the way. What that means is that when that happens, your fate is generally not in your hands.
Right.
It's the result of misses or decisions made by other lifters. You know, if you have a big enough lead,
right,
it can still hold up, but usually you will get hunted down by somebody when you're, you know, less. Is not withdrawn from the competition as far as we can tell.
Number 3, 138. Yes.
So Manueli's gone up to 138.
137 kilos remains on the bar.
And you know, I'm thinking about, yeah, he's moved up, so that means 137 is going to stay on for Concha. He took 37, not 38, and it looks like he's going to stay out for this. You know, there are 2 Colombians in this group. De La Salas has bombed out. I'm not so sure we're going to see him take a clean and jerk attempt, but he may not withdraw.
I'd give his teammates some time.
They can play the game with the clock and you know, use his presence as needed to either burn other clocks on competition or give Berna, his countrymate, a breather if they need it.
That's fair.
So they may not, while he may not lift, they may not be so quick to pull him out.
That's a good point.
All right, so now Marcos Antonio Rojas Concha of Peru, 3rd and final attempt. 103 kilos on his 2nd attempt in the snatch. He's already made 131 and 135 in the clean and jerk.
Good clean. Oh.
This could be our first borderline call. And it went his way.
All right. Yeah, I think that was about as much as he's going to be making today. So.
And it was a good call, so a good performance for Concha. 5 for 6, 240 kilo total.
His opening attempt in the clean and jerk. 138 kilograms. Borachi to follow.
Oof. That was close. That was close.
All right, so now it looks like Siraj Al-Salim, 1 minute clock is running, 138 kilos.
Siraj better not, he better tighten up when he catches this clean, or else he's going to wind up on his behind.
138 kilos is the opening attempt for him. He was successful with 112 kilos on his 3rd attempt in the snatch.
Wow, all right. I wasn't expecting that. Beautiful.
I was expecting that.
Beautiful
He has
lift.
a great overhead position.
Yes.
Very aggressive punch out.
Strong. Great lift.
His best ever is 140. And I think we've got a good chance of seeing him exceed that with the 2 attempts he has remaining. And now we are back to Josue Brachi of Spain. Currently at 253 kilo total. Quite a bit of ground for the rest of this field to make up on him. But he is out early in the clean and jerk.
Nice job. That was a good lift. That was a professional lift.
And that'll move him up to 256 kilos. And I guess you can consider him a snatch specialist if you want for the purpose of this discussion. And what he's doing with this track is playing it his way.
Yes.
And laying it out to the field. If you can catch me, come get it. Otherwise, I'm just going to do what I can. And we'll see if this holds up. He does have another attempt in hand. He has elected, Brachi that is, has elected 140 kilos, and now we have Manueli Tulo of Fiji for his 3rd and final attempt. He has been successful on his first 2. If he makes this, he'll be 3 for 3 in the clean and jerk. There's a down signal. Did they see an elbow touch?
I think the bar slid.
Dirty clean.
Yeah. I think.
So take a look at this turnover when he hits the bottom position. I think you're right, Sean. I think he might have been called for a double clean on this. Right there. You know, that's pretty slight.
That's not, I don't know if I, was there an elbow touch?
There wasn't. I didn't see an elbow touch. Yes.
Okay.
That has to be what it is.
Yeah.
And I did not see it. That left elbow looks like it caught the mid-thigh there, and the down signal came immediately, so the referees did see it.
Because the bar did slide down a little bit, which you're not supposed to do, but it was really slight.
Yeah, so what you're referring to there is when the bar slides down the shoulders a little bit, if the lifter hikes it up from the position from where they caught it, they can be called
Right.
down on that. The term for it is double clean, but even in the rule book, they do refer to that as a dirty clean.
Really, that's what they were.
Yeah, it is written in the rule book as in quotes, dirty clean.
All right. I did not know that.
Yeah. All right, here's Jose Brachi of Spain, third and final attempt, 140 kilos.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I like this guy.
5 for 6, 258 kilo total.
All business. I like this guy. Good.
Current leader, and he has drawn the line in the sand.
All right.
Excellent day for Brachi of Spain. So now it looks like
Number 8.
De La Salas has made a second change.
And Berna Gonzalez is the lifter. Carlos Andres Berna Gonzalez from Colombia.
142 kilos has been called for Carlos Andres Berna Gonzalez. We do not see him in the entryway.
So Brocky's probably going to wind up being fourth.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ming Moon,
Number 10. 144.
we shall see.
Yes.
They gave Berna another change. 144 kilos is where he's going. So 143 kilos is going to be called for Witsun Ming Moon of Thailand. We have 6 lifters remaining in this competition. We have seen 5 of them.
Yes.
And with Brachi being out early in the clean and jerk, this is going to start getting interesting.
Yes. Because now Ming Moon is going to, if he comes out, oh, never mind. So he had
No, Ming Moon just moved up to 150.
yeah.
Yeah. So he is playing for it, and if he is successful, if 150 is where he goes, just to put that in perspective, with his 115 kilo snatch, that would give him 265,
yeah.
which is way more than he needs right
Yes.
now, to be honest with you, to get past Brachi. So that's an interesting choice. And now we have De La Salas, oh, excuse me, Berna. De La Salas has been called at 144. I'm sorry, 143. Al Salim on deck, also looking for 143, and Berna in the hole at 144. And they're letting this clock run down on De La Salas. So the game is on with Colombia. They're just playing around. And what this does is it will move De La Salas into a second attempt now that is technically a missed attempt. It will bring Al Salim onto the platform. If Siraj Al Salim misses this,
We can put him right back out.
De La Salas, the coaches for De La Salas will immediately move him up to 144 and burn Al Salim's clock.
Thank you.
So if Al Salim wants a rest,
You better make this lift.
he needs to make this.
And judging from what he did on his first attempt, I don't think that'll be a problem.
If successful, and this is an interesting choice here, if he's successful, this will give him 255, still 3 kilos short of Brachi.
Oh! Oh, he's in trouble. They're going to put him right back out there.
And this is a direct benefit to Carlos Berna.
143 kilos, please. Tighten that up.
No, they just withdrew De La Salas.
For Siraj,
They just drew. There are dashes across the screen. He's not going to get introduced. They could have just burned Al Salim's clock.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Instead, they gave him a 2-minute clock. The announcement hasn't come, but we're looking at the board, and there are 2 dashes for Habib de la Salas, which means he is out of the competition. If they would have waited literally 10 more seconds,
Right.
we'd be on a 1-minute clock for Siraj Al-Salim.
Got to wonder about that call.
And the only way that makes sense is if Carlos Berno wanted more time.
Right.
You see the two Colombian lifters sitting next to each other. Al-Salim seems to be okay now. He just looks like he wasn't able to, get himself ready for a clean and jerk. Hopefully we will see him soon. But the game is on for Carlos Berna. Made a 117 snatch on his third attempt. That was good for fourth coming into the clean and jerk. If he makes his 144 when we see him in a bit, he will be in the game for a medal, no question about it. But now we are on the third attempt of Siraj Al-Salim of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is his final attempt. If successful, he will finish with a 255 kilo total. It will not be enough to move ahead of Brachi.
Much better. All right. Well, boy, I tell you, the way he looked on that first attempt.
It looked unstoppable, right? Sometimes it doesn't happen, though. And Al-Salim will be credited with his opener of 138. Does he split back? No, he just doesn't really get under it. So no lift there. 2 for 6. Excuse me. Yeah, 2 for 6. 2 for 3 in the snatch. 1 for 3 in the clean and jerk. Finishes the day, 250 kilo total. Currently has him sitting in second. And now here is Carlos Berna. If successful with this opening attempt of 144 kilos, he will move into the lead overall. He is one of 4 lifters remaining in this group. All of them are on opening attempts.
Easiest opener.
And that's going to prove to be a very costly miss. And the reason why is that at 144 kilos, he is going to have to follow himself.
Yes,
Another 2-minute clock. But Witun Mingmoon of Thailand snatched 115. He was 2 kilos behind Berna coming into the clean and jerk. And he is sitting on a 150 opener. So he is really forcing Berna's hand, and Berna has to make this lift. And if he wants to keep Mingmoon at bay, he's going to need to take a 4 or a 5 kilo jump off a make here. And he'll still be done before Mingmoon opens. So,
and here's where that the withdraw
of De La Salas.
Really, because he would have if he burnt Al-Salim with one of the attempts, he'd have 1 left, and he would have been able to use it to give him some rest.
That's correct.
So
and he doesn't have that benefit right now when he needs it.
Right. So I really question that as a team. That wasn't the best use of attempts.
Right. So Berna, even though this is his second attempt, if he wants to play for the medal stand, I would call this a must lift. This is a crucial attempt in this competition. So 144 kilos for Carlos Berna.
And that first attempt didn't look so great. So what's his best?
52.
So
but he did that back in 2010.
Oh, well, that's a whole career ago. That's better. Yeah, that was fine. That was good.
Yeah, and you know, my recollection of Berna is that his jerk is awesome. I mean, short dip, great punch out. So that first miss was kind of a surprise. Look at this. I mean, just perfect. And now what this does is allow Berna to play around with his third attempt. Now has 261. Ming Moon has dropped down to 147. This will move him ahead of Berna. So Ming Moon played the game right from a drop-down position,
right,
which you see more of, where he elected to take where he changed his opening attempt up to 150 to see what Berna would do, and then dropped in while Berna was on the platform.
It's going to force Berna to move to 54, I believe.
Yes.
Which,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. What's going on here? I guess that's what's going on. All right.
All right, good lift, 147 kilos for Wittoon Ming Moon of Thailand.
Now Berna's in a tough spot. He's 154.
It's a 10-kilo jump.
That's. I mean, that's a.
No. 150. He doesn't need that much. He's got two. He's down by 1 kilo right
1
now.
kilo. Sorry,
But he's already elected to take a 6-kilo jump.
Right.
To, I think, force Ming Moon's hand a little bit. And that's an interesting play.
Yeah.
Because if successful here with this 150, it will move him to a 267.
Good clean.
Good jerk.
Good jerk. All right, game on now.
That is a great job. A 6-kilo jump for Carlos Berna. And he now has a 266-kilo total. And watch this. Just perfect. You were talking earlier about when the bar goes overhead, it needs to just stop.
Yeah.
That's what you got right there out of Carlos Berna. So now, Tak Kim Twan has dropped down to 150 kilos to open. He is our gold medalist in the snatch. This will obviously move him into the lead in total.
76.
But an interesting choice here. And this opens the door for Tron Lee Kwok Twan to get back in.
Not for the total.
We'll see.
That wasn't easy. That wasn't the easiest lift in the world.
But it's also, in looking at it, not outside the norm of where he normally plays on opening attempts. If you look over his history, generally 155 is the most he's ever opened with. He did that in 2014, but 151, 147. At the Olympics where he bombed, he opened with 157, and that didn't go so well. So a 150 opener here with the lead that he had coming out of the snatch might be a pretty good play. But it doesn't lock him up.
No.
As the winner. Because his countrymate still has 3 attempts, and he's going to come out for his first. We'll see.
So Tron Kwok lowered his opener.
He did. From 157.
157, 156, yeah.
down to 151 while Tak was on the platform. So 151 kilos first attempt for Tran Lee Kwok Tuan.
So this is a play for second place.
It is. And it puts him in good position for it.
Beautiful.
Right grip.
Nice job. That was a good lift.
That was a message lift.
152, please. 152 kilograms for the second attempt.
Perfect. All right, so Tran Lee Kwok Tuan, 151 kilos.
So this will put him into third over Berna.
This is what Ming Moon needs to guarantee a spot on the podium in both the clean and jerk and the total.
His bar doesn't change speeds, it seems. Just one speed. Now he's guaranteed himself a bronze medal.
At minimum, with that second attempt, 152 kilo success.
So he needs 4 kilos. He needs to do 156 to take second place.
From Tran Lee Kwok Tuan, who has 2 more attempts, but yeah, he's going to have to play it out for that. In the meantime, it looks like Tak Kim Tuan is going to be called for 153 kilos for his second attempt. This will move him up to 279. And I talked about earlier, you know, hoping to see something in the 290s. And, you know, this is, we're feeling the absences already, I think, in terms of the winning total.
Yeah, but, right, yes.
But it is a good competition. All right, so now, Tak, 153, second attempt.
He's strong.
He is. With that. And with that overhead position, one thing in watching that one, which was better all the way around, I did recall seeing that stiff back leg in the jerk. That's something of a trademark of his. But this 279, where he is now with 279, I would start to say it looks unlikely like he's going to get caught. It looks like he's just got too much ground.
I agree.
With another attempt in hand, and Tran Lee Kwok Tuan coming out right now with 154. I mean, this will move him up to 2 spot.
I mean, Tran's guaranteed second place regardless. If he makes this or miss this, he's still in second place.
Tak,
So
we just saw.
no, Tran.
Yeah, but don't forget, he can still get caught. Ming Moon.
Oh, yes.
And now Ming Moon is playing this the same way. He jumped all the way up to 156.
Well, he might.
And Tran Lee Kwok Tuan is going to have to follow himself.
Yeah, and that didn't look like a
convincing attempt.
Doesn't look like he's got a lot in the tank, but he's got to find a way to come out of this. I mean, there's no pressure on it. Well, actually, there is pressure on him. He's got to make this.
Because now sitting on we're down to our final 3 attempts of the competition, and I think everybody would agree at this point it is a battle for second place.
Yeah.
And if Tran does not make this, Ming Moon will take the 156 he's currently slated for.
And right, if he makes that takes second place.
It will give him a 271 kilo total and move him ahead of Tron, who is at 270 right now. So look at it like this. If he makes this 54, he will force Ming Moon to 159, and I don't know that Ming Moon has 159.
But we're going to find out if he makes it.
So this is another crucial attempt in this session. This will not guarantee a silver medal, but it will improve the likelihood of it for Tron Lee Kwok Tuan.
This is a huge lift. Yes.
Rounded out. Halfway up at the sticking point, he just couldn't squeeze through. But boy, did he commit to the bottom on this. Double hop. He was just sitting on 156. He moved to 155. And
that's not the right call, I don't think.
It is not the right call. They have miscalculated it.
Because if he...
270 is done. If he makes this lift, it will give him 270.
Which, and Tron took it, got 270 first.
That's right. It does not move him ahead of Tron. Maybe they don't think he can make the 56. They're taking the weight that he believes
he can make 55. You can make 56. Well, it doesn't matter, but boy, that's a terrible
tactical. Yeah, could be a tactical error there, but the end result is the same. With that miss at 155, Ming Moon will finish with a 267 kilo total, and for now, a silver medal in the clean and jerk. Yes, a silver medal in the clean and jerk and a bronze medal in the total. 156 would have moved him ahead in total, but no decision to do it. Now we are down to our final lift of the competition. It belongs to Tak.
284 if he makes this, which is a good total.
It is, and he is our world champion for 2017. This is a gravy lift. No lift, but a nice effort.
Great effort.
And congratulations to Tak Kim Tuan. You are the gold medalist at the 2017 World Championships. The men's 56 kilo category has come to a close. Bit of a challenge through the session, I think, Sean.
Yeah.
But a fun one, no question about it. To close, here are the final results.